Assassin's Creed is getting ready to become the biggest laughingstock in gaming in the last at least 5 years, and Ubisoft in general is not doing a lot better.
Over at Ubisoft, things are not going so well, as it's being reported that Ubisoft has shut down its studio in Leamington, UK, and fired 185 employees across several of its offices. The Leamington
Oh no, how sad, said not a single gamer.
office worked on Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Over at Eurogamer,
Imagine that is your resume. We made Skull and Bones, a pirate game with 50% female representation, in an age where most females on pirate ships would be used for one thing, and that is illegal. Very illegal, except in the UK, which kind of makes sense because there it's protected almost. Well, I mean, if you're British and you talk about it, you get sent to prison. It is what it is. I did not make the rules. And then your other achievement is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, that didn't sell any copies, was a complete flop, and had gameplay worse than Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I'm sorry. Did you even try? No, wait, don't answer that. I don't want to hear you say yes, because that just makes it sadder.
they would further elaborate on this, saying that Ubisoft's latest layoffs come as the company continues to try and cut costs after a string of disappointing game launches, including the failure of big budget bet Star Wars Outlaws, the shutdown of live service shooter X Defiant, and repeated delays to Assassin's Creed Shadows amidst wider concern for the firm's future. And while
the concern for Ubisoft's future is astonishingly monumental at this point. Remember, Ubisoft effectively, which they are hiding in their reports, last year 2024 lost roughly 1 billion. It's that bad. Yes, I know it's hard to believe, but it is really that bad.
This is all occurring, we've got some comedy here with journalist Stefan Totilo trying to hype up Assassin's Creed Shadows by showing coverage of Yasuke slicing bamboo in the tweet.
I know what this is. I tweeted about this. This is hilarious. He slashes the bamboo and the bamboo is not even cut. It's broken. You can see it's broken. It didn't get cut. It was broken. This is crazy.
Tweety says, I played Assassin's Creed Shadows yesterday and can confirm that it has excellent bamboo slicing tech. I'll have more coverage of the game in GameFile probably tomorrow. Because yeah, this is totally going to save the game. A top response in a quote tweet would say, this is not a big deal. More importantly, focus on how Assassin's Creed is distorting Japanese history. Over 100,000 people have signed a petition demanding the cancellation of its release. That same person wasn't done there, further saying, Ubisoft's portrayal of Yasuke as a quote-unquote samurai is being promoted as if it were historically factual, leading to edits on foreign language Wikipedia pages and the spread of misinformation that Japan was actively involved in the slave trade. A book even emerged, creating a fictional legend of a black samurai, quote-unquote, further revealing these inaccuracies. In the second image, an excerpt about Assassin's Creed Shadows from Ubisoft Quebec, the developers claim they conducted thorough research, consulted historians, and immersed themselves in Japanese culture. Yet their cinematic trailer shows glaring mistakes, such as incorrectly shaped tatami and samurai depicted sitting in seiza, which would be highly unusual, contradicting their supposed commitment to historical authenticity.
This commitment to historical authenticity is a blatant lie. They have Chinese architecture in the game that has nothing to do with Japan. Believe it or not, China is not exactly the same thing as Japan. I know it's hard to believe for Ubisoft at least, but it isn't. But yeah, they had a lot of things that were actually Chinese in the game instead of Japanese. They made a lot of things up. It's pretty wild how much they got wrong. But that's what happens when your expert is probably versed than someone who's just a fan of anime on average.
Some may dismiss these issues as harmless since it's just a game. But in reality, these errors have already influenced public perception. Wikipedia entries have been altered, and new publications are reinforcing false narratives, creating potential long-term misunderstandings about Japanese history, Consequently, more than 100,000 people have signed a petition demanding the game's cancellation, fearing it will mislead further generations. And directly in response to Stefan Dotillo and his replies to that tweet, we could see responses like, Red Faction had destructible environments in 2001, bro. And this one saying, bruh, MGR had better slicing tech back on the PS3. Lastly, we've got this top response that says, the devs that made that neglected two things. 1. Material resistance. 2. Weight of the bamboo. Try to cut bamboo horizontally and be next to bamboo falling. It's a slop. That takes us to our very own Permaband, who says, AC fan account trying to market Assassin's Creed Shadows for Ubisoft. Matchlock clips through the helmet, watermelons in spring, or cherry blossoms in summer.
Oh yeah, I saw this. Watermelons. Why? You exactly know why. Also, there is a rumored chicken frying minigame.
Where's that quadruple A quality assurance Ubisoft is touting? And we can see one of the screenshots included show this AC Shadows, this just Assassin's Creed news fan account thing, saying Yasuke during a leisurely stroll, and yeah, showing the clipping issue right there and the watermelon on the center left-ish of the screen. You can see right there by Yasuke. Someone said, nice clipping issues, and the fan account's like, go crying. This is actually a recurring thing with this fan account because they seem to have some sort of mental breakdown of people laughing at AC Shadows, making dozens of responses, as you can see here. Yeah, they're just repeating that over and over again, saying, go crying, go crying, go crying.
Why is it just not go cry like a normal person would say? Why is it go crying?
Crying. And finally, that takes us over to the official Assassin's Creed account, where you may have seen this from the other day, where they responded to a clip posted by Nick Tech, showing AC Shadows bugging out in real time after they tried to pet a dog in the game. And AC Shadows, the actual official account, says, note to self, make quote-unquote work in progress appear larger. Ubisoft then collectively getting mocked by the majority.
Work in progress? This is supposed to launch literally almost tomorrow.
Of people in the responses saying things like, work in progress and it's 2 months away. And this one saying, you're not going to fix broken AI in a month. Work in progress means nothing when progress is impossible. You're launching a game in a broken state, and you have to because you don't have the money to delay it further. This is what happens when you DEI hire. You go bankrupt. And over at PC Gamer, similarly to Stefan Dotillo, journalists at PC Gamer are also trying to hype this game up. For example, this headline saying, I played 6 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and folks, I think this one was worth the wait. The
Yeah, this is hilarious because someone made a compilation of PC Gamer just having these headlines constantly. I played X game for 5 hours, it's worth it. I played X game for 7 hours, it was all I expected. PC Gamer does this constantly. Whoever literally throws a nickel in their direction just gets the good response.
Text reading. There's a lot riding on Shadows for Ubisoft, and it's making a fantastic first impression. The same journalist over on PC Gamer had also previously wrote this headline saying, uh-oh, I played 7 hours of Concord this weekend and immediately want back in. So, man.
Oh no! How can you ever trust someone who failed this hard by saying Concord good? How can you trust anyone who said any of these games are good?
Pick a struggle, bro. Like, this guy's not just a gaming journalist for PC Gamer. He's also a Concord fan and apparently an AC Shadows enjoyer. Wow, it doesn't end there either. A post over on Reddit would outline more articles this guy made. For example, after 5 hours of exploring the galaxy and ghosting past stormtroopers, Star Wars Outlaws is finally winning me over. Our best look yet at Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game. And 8 hours in, an SSK...
One of the Ubisoft's most... Well, until this point, Star Wars Outlaws was Ubisoft's most expensive game. They had the biggest marketing for it. They had the biggest development cost for it. And it sold roughly 1.5 million copies. And even probably, 200,000 of that was on sale because they were desperate. And it's dead. And it's dead. And Star Wars Outlaws most likely required 7+ million copies to be sold to make any money. Because keep in mind, Not only do they need to pay Steam their 30% cut or however much Gaben feels like taking that day, but they also need to pay licensing fees to Disney, which currently probably is not exactly, giving them out for cheap because everything Disney has done has also been a shit show. So this is not great.
The JL doesn't seem like the disaster some were waiting for. It's pretty fun. Bro has actually made it his mission, his life's mission, to defend AAA slop. Anyways, yeah, hilarious stuff in my opinion, as that's the latest news going on with Ubisoft. Hope you enjoyed the coverage, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you.
Yep, that was Hero Hey, 10 out of 10. I mean, this is just bad. Ubisoft's already down the bucket, okay? But when AC Shadows releases, it's gonna be painful. Painful. I wonder if it can actually get 2 million copies sold. Because currently, it's like everything with AC Shadows is just wrong and bad. The good times are by far gone, okay? When Valhalla released in the time of the unknown disease, when it was rolling around and everyone was at home and everyone wanted to just play computer games. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's really, really bad. And that's good for us because, hey, if you make something this bad, if your main idea about gaming is creating ideologies and political statements instead of good games, well, you sell 0 copies and then you have to find another job because you got fired because your company didn't make any money. You made a choice and now you're suffering the consequences. It is what it is. Bye-bye.